Good afternoon. My name is Mark. I'm going to start welcoming you here to our guided tour of RFP delivery. Get started here for just a few minutes.
American scientists.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start welcoming you here to RFP Delivery's guided tour. This is a recorded version, so you can watch us live on YouTube as we're going along, but it'll be available in a recording just after. So I want to thank those who are attending on YouTube. You are muted as you enter the room. If you do have a question, just raise your hand, technically speaking, or unmute yourself and be glad to answer any questions. But I do want you to be aware that everything is recorded for privacy reasons. We'll get started here in just about a couple minutes at the hour. We'll let everybody get into the room, and I'm going to spend probably about 25 minutes with you this morning to answer questions and help you out with a general review of how to search on RFP delivery. Get started here in just a minute.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, everybody? How's everybody today? I want to start welcoming you here. You are on mute when you get started, so be aware of that as you come in. That's for everybody else's enjoyment as well. But if you have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. I'll be glad to try to answer those as we go along. But you can also type them into the chat box. That always is a good way so I can stop and come back and review those. I'm gonna open up that chat right now. I do appreciate everyone coming this morning. It looks like we'll have a pretty good full room, and I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. Okay, tell me a little bit about your company as you ask those questions, and it'll help me out. I'll drive my conversation with you this morning based on what your interests are. We'll get started here in one more minute. I want to thank you here for coming to our Zoom session today. We're going to spend some time on how to search and with some other tools, including I'm going to talk to you about teaming and micro purchases and some tools that we have for you in our website to help you in that effort. For those of you who do not know, my name is Mark Knowles. I'm one of the founders of RFP Delivery, and I'll give you just a quick hello as we go in there, but we'll focus in on the actual website today. That's what's more interesting, I think. So we'll get started here in just a second. So here we are at 12:01. I'd like to give everybody just a couple of minutes to get into the room, and then we get started each time. And here we are at rfpdelivery.com. What I want to do this morning is give you a guided tour, show you some tips on how to actually use the website. This is a recorded version. It's recorded as a live on YouTube session. You're able to click on and watch it immediately following the session. Feel free to share that with others. We think we've got a really good tool here. For those of you who don't know, we're located in Atlanta, Georgia. We've been in the sector since 1998. We serve probably just over 132,000 companies worldwide now who have registered proactively to use our services. As you all also know, we're not affiliated specifically with any government agency. It's not that we dislike government, it's just that we have a hands-off relationship so that we can deliver the information to you that you're seeking. We're kind of like a newspaper, online publishing tool. I think in the old days, we had the legal organs, you pick up in the back of the newspaper, and that's where you'd see all the classified ads for an upcoming government contracting or government bidding opportunity. And it's just all changed with the advent of the internet. I kind of watched it grow in the mid-90s and said, hey, this would be a good idea to go out there and actually pull all these bids together and pull that information for you at one location. And that's what we do. So we don't sit and wait for governments. We act proactively for you to gather the information and to help us along the way. About 80% of our bids and RFPs are posted directly by governments trying to reach you. We've built a great audience. And, this, as I mentioned to you in the email this morning, we're entering into the final month of the FY 2024 fiscal year. And that's an important date on most calendars, especially if you're going after government contracts. Governments have really what has been the largest spending, the largest government contracting period in American history. It's There's a lot of opportunities, probably some $7 trillion marketplace from recent calculations. It's highly active, and we're entering into that last final period where you see some of them with those funds, and they're trying to rush out those contracts before the new fiscal year starts, and that'll start on October 1. As you know, local and state governments have different budget years in most areas, except though in Texas and Florida, it's two of our largest states where a lot of the governments do operate on that October 1 fiscal year as well, instead of the June 30 or the December 31st year ending. And that's important for you to recognize. And so when you get in there, you'll see a flurry of activity, and not only now, but also as the new fiscal year starts in the coming months. So I like to point that out. Coming off this Labor Day holiday, I think we had close to 10,000. Actually, I think it was a little bit more than 10,000 listings posted since Friday, while everybody thought there was a vacation going on. But these are all automated systems, and they're going in and publish them. So I always want you to come in after that quick holiday and go back in there and do a keyword search to help you. As you know, when you first come to our website, you see that keyword functionality. Here, if you can get past our crawling advertisements, where we try to make sure you're familiar with the delivery app, basically making sure you download the app off on both the Google Play Store and the App Store. And of course, if you don't have that capability statement, it's so important. We're coming to deliver that, especially when you're now dealing with RFP writing and helping you and using various tools and mechanisms. I think if you haven't started using the new GPT that we've designed, you should. It really speeds things. I was just helping somebody write an RFP response. It really helped improve. I don't depend on them completely, but they're there for you to use as a tool, to help you make sure you improve your writing skills and how you actually present your information, so you don't miss anything. But once that crawling stops, you can type in that keyword, and just as a reminder, it is a Boolean search technique. So if you were looking, for example, for multiple words, a compensation study, for example, two words together would have to appear together in order for you to find that search. If you use a conjunction of or, then you can have more an alternative searches that you do, and of course is limiting, and then and not is restrictive. So you have that ability. It's a Boolean search, really the way we all search before we had the advent of Google. I can remember sitting on a plane reading about this new company called Google. I said, "Hey, that's a good idea. I just wish I'd put all my money into that instead." I'm thinking maybe that would have been a little bit different. No, actually, I don't. I really enjoy going out and doing work and entrepreneurial activities. So here we are, and she clicked on went to the actual download in the App Store, but going into search. And I'll just tap on once you log in. If you see this, that means you're already logged in. But if you're not, then log in. Always click our logo to go straight to your dashboard. In your dashboard, you're going to find some basic tools. You're going to notice on mine here today is a new logo. So you've been watching the human image for a long period of time. We are now introducing a new service that's going to allow you to team with each other, and you're going to be able to tell when you're open to teaming, and so that others can potentially contact you and approach you, so that you can then execute more winning proposals together. And so that's going to be a new item that's going to allow you to do that. You'll be able to tap on that image, and you'll be able to go in and add your logo or your personal picture or whatever you want to use, and then you're going to be able to choose some options. We've seen that in some other tools sets that are out there, but allowing you to express yourself in different ways so that you can help organizations know that you're ready to do business. And we're always trying to encourage you that. Always going back to the main screen, by clicking the logo, or over here, that small human, or the word home. And when you're here, if you have loaded your UEI, if you haven't, you can do that in your settings. But just to quickly remind you, we now give your SBA profile. And this is so important whenever you're getting ready for micro purchases and you're ready to actually do business with governments. This is the primary way that they come and they search for you and find you. in your in government contracting community. So a government contracting officer will come and search, and usually by keyword, and come in and find this is my profile. But once you set your profile set, you always just tap on there in order to see what that profile actually looks like. And we have classes and other tools to help you update that and make sure you have the best one that you want to put forward. Always know your membership here is shown for you, whichever level you have. If you don't have currently, if you have a free membership, I encourage you to give us a call today. We still have that special that we had out there for the Labor Day weekend, and it's just kind of hanging around for the remaining of the day. But somebody can help you out with that. And as always, your capability statements are so important. We allow you to tap into them here and share those, and not only with yourself and know where they're at. You have multiple ones, in fact, number of versions here, and then the data added it. And then you can see it by clicking on this little arrow here to actually download it and find the capability statement that you want to show off. Now you can have multiple ones in your account, so you can keep them there. And I only have one here, but I have others that I pull out depending on the type of service that I am and that's you're using. So that's important. So you have your universal one, then sometimes you have others that are specialized in the field of work, and you can delete those as you get more, decide to make changes to it. And always keep that in a format that you can then go in there and use edit very simply. In fact, the ones that we prepare for you are all editable now because we want you to be you're always growing, you're always changing, and we recognize that. Then, of course, the last thing I'd like to show in your dashboard, top dashboard, is the My Drive feature. That if you're actually using our RFP writing processes, you'll see that here. And also, if you're just doing the small business profile, we'll set that up for you. But going in and actually drafting in individual folders that are actually used using the Google Drive system. It's a free tool, and why not take advantage of those options, including template development, Dropbox to pass back and forth information, but good templates like your cover sheet and your cover letter and your proposal, so you have them ready to go. And then, of course, the whole process of the flow of bids and RFPs, and making sure that you can have them in an organized structure in those components so that you can act very quickly and respond to agency requests. I had somebody this morning that said, okay, I heard about this over the weekend. It's due on Thursday. Can we get it done? I said, yes, we can get it done. Because you know why? You've already done all the homework, and that's so important that you have those information ready to go. Then, of course, when you're actually flowing through and following the RFPs, you want to make sure that you have them organized in a process of working through the overall system from the pre-active stage. They're coming. I'm going to show you how to find those in just a second. But also when they get active and they go into that cone of silence, that you got that managed correctly to the submission and to the win, and then the actual phase of a no bid or a no win. And I always point out that a lot of times there's been a lot of studies to understand why we choose first not to bid or that we don't win. And a lot of times doesn't have anything to do with you, but has a lot to do with social and emotional factors that influence decision making in the public sector. So we kind of have to learn this process, and so it's learning a lot of it, and making sure that you've got these everything in order and ready to really present the best foot forward and defining yourself the right way. And of course, you see that new folder, Chat RFPs. And speaking of learning and basically using the GPT and GPTs and generative intelligence in order to actually go in and respond and make sure you get the best response forward, and helping you with your writing. And so we help you build those kind of operations now. It's just changing. It's a changing world, and you have to keep up. And we focus a lot of our attention on making sure you can actually do that. And now once again, going back to that home screen, clicking there, the human, or going back, clicking there, the logo, I can come in and actually start filtering. Now on the left-hand side, you're going to see the filter box closed. Right-hand side, more global filter available to you. So for example, if I was actually going to go in and search over here on the left-hand side, and I was looking for compensation studies, for example, I might type in the word compensation, and then come in and actually look under consulting, human resources, okay, and search, and then I can limit my states. Now, if I add a federal portion to this, just say 8A set aside, then I'm only going to find federal searches at that point. So just remember that you're limiting yourself each time you add an individual requirement. Okay. And so that's important. In addition, if I was to save the filter that I place, so I can have multiple ones, you'll always find them here under My Filters. The My Filters feature lists all the filters that you add over time, ties into your app or your phone app. So it gives you multiple versions and multiple ways to actually go in and do a search. But here's one I've saved in Washington State for clients doing cleaning custodial bids. And so if I was to actually apply that filter, they don't actually go in and run that at any given time and show me most recent first bid. And I would always like to point out that when we search at our site, you're only looking at active listings. And that's important, especially with your comparing us to others, that you're not, once you get past page 2 or 3, it's not all expired bids. Everything here is active. Today we got 47,569 active RFPs and invitations to bid across the United States. In fact, we're in 72 countries. You can go here under our map and see very quickly where they're at geospatially so that you can then tap into them. And I always like to point out that we're typically following the American dollar or the Canadian dollar in some capacity. And so these are military bases, embassies, and so forth. When you see those spots across the board, I always find it interesting. We have a little island out here that we're doing business in. But each of these in 222 industries. So let's just say if I'm going in and I'm an event planner and I'm looking for event planning contracts, then I can very quickly tap onto it and see where that actual bid's at. Okay, so here's one for athletic travel management, Oklahoma. Anybody get to watch some of the football games this weekend? There were some good ones for the first week, but there's also some big blowouts. I'm a big old UGA fan, so we saw some in Atlanta. Saw that and enjoyed that. Was a good outcome, unless you were potentially up there at Clemson. It wasn't such a great outcome. But travel management. So here's we got a bid here, and going in, once you actually see the RFP, you'll find the title. You'll find the external link where the bid's actually located on the internet. When it's due, what the agency is, it's the code that you might need, some sort of reference them when you contact them. Sometimes the specific information will drop in there, including if it's a set aside or a preference, or if there's an individual you have to contact. Most times in local government, specifically state agency, this is a smaller office, and when you call in, you can talk to anybody. And just remember, this link gives you the ability to actually go in and learn how to do business with that government. And we add additional information such as a synopsis. And if there's anything our agents, our researchers can tell you about that bid under the competitive intelligence area. When you find an RFP that you're interested, you want to use our capture management system, then essentially capture it. And that way you don't lose it, because we're adding 5,000 calls for business proposal every day, 2 to 3 a minute. So it's a constant flow. And you always want to make sure you don't lose something when you actually find it, because it takes sometimes finding is the most difficult part. You can always view those captured bids here. And unlike our front system where the bid actually expires on the date that it was due, you can keep them here. See this one here I've got since set July 2, 2023. You can keep them here as long as you like until you get tired of it, and you can remove it. We have some 6 million listings that we've collected over time. So if you do accidentally remove one, just let us know and we can get it back into your account. But it allows you to keep them flow going. In addition, a lot of these bids that you find here, they'll bid every year, every 3 years, and you can maintain that business processes that you might have internally to keep them there. And then, of course, share those with others within your organization. Now, since we're here, I'll go ahead and quickly show you your settings option. Before I'll give you some others, you're able to go in, add your industries, cast a wide net when you first start. Makes a lot of sense. When you actually save those, update them here. And then that starts to drive your daily email alert. Comes here based on the locations you select. You can go in, individualize those, or check all, update my preferences. And then every day, my daily alerts will come to me as long as I've got it on at 4 a.m. Eastern time. They'll start popping out. And we produce a lot of those alerts, boy, I tell you that much. And the first ones, when they don't get to you, they should get to you every day. If they don't get to you by that, within a couple of hours after we start, then something might be wrong. So make sure you reach out to us. It can be caught in your spam or in some other method, but we're sending them every single day to you to let you know if there's a match or not. Even if there's not a match, you get notified. And I would just point that out because it's important that you keep aware of those matches. In addition, If you don't want the alert, I mean, if you don't come in the email, you want to come in here, you can actually choose alert, come back and show those. And then I can take and look at everything I would have got or should be in my email for the last up to 28 days. And in fact, it's an easy enough search option, a tool that we just allowed for you. You can actually type in, let's just say if I was out the whole month, I want to do 30 days. I just type 30 at the end of that. It'll show me all 30 days. Here it's presented in a linear format by state. Now, in your email each day, it's going to look and feel like your email. Okay. And so if you're using Gmail, you're using Outlook, you'll notice that. Now, over here in the App Store, it's going to always show you those listings, those matches, just by tapping, taking away the limitation of time. You open up your app, you tap it, and you see your matches, and it's going to show you instantly what matched you in a progression over time. Okay, and so it's excuse me, the order of the actual entries, and so you don't miss something, and they stay there for you. And so that's where your alerts at on there, and of course your captured bid options there. Now in your account, you also have the ability to come in and monitor those filters, set up these elaborate keyword searches, sometimes very elaborate. Okay, it's a Boolean search. You can apply them anytime. You can also delete them at any time. And then, of course, you can change your password. And this is where you actually add your UEI, unique entity ID. Okay, something that you have to have for the federal government, and it's tied to here once you add that in. Now, going back to our home account, once you have all your settings there, you need somebody to help you with your settings. You give us a call or let's Zoom, and we'll do that individually. You have the opportunity to add all kinds of Zoom sessions that we have available for you. Now here, as you go in on the right-hand side, and I showed you the left-hand side, just remember filter within filter. And I was just showing somebody other that this morning, like service disabled, for example. I can go in and I can apply the by NAICS code and hit that apply the filter, and it'll show me very quickly if there's a match for you. 602 this morning that are active SD, VOSB, RFPs, and bids that are available to you. Okay, and you see this all across the country at this point because I didn't choose that additional filter by state. Now, if I limited myself by state and by service disabled, and then I would have actually came in and found that to be the case. And so when I'm in my keyword, and notice I've done my filter and I've ended up with 602. Now this keyword option is going to be within that universe. Now, if I'd been at the beginning screen when I did this, it's going to give me the keyword option for the entire database itself. So the right-hand side is a global view. And that's important to remember. So you don't use the two together. You can use one after the other, but you not together at the same time. So when I'm here, if I want to come back in and let's just say I want to go search for Cisco, I saw that one there and just give me a cheat of the word. Or let's go on in and say I also want kit, okay? And I'm going to search, and it's going to do that search within this listing here. And so I said, I want the bids to have either of those words there for you. And then, and I know I messed up just a little bit. You need to have at least a 3-letter word with a space or either a 4-letter word, okay? And so that's important when you're doing a Boolean search. And so here we find that bid ready for you. So a global search within the actual limitations of the smaller universe I did, or within the bigger universe. And once I determine that's a good keyword, I can just save it right there and save that keyword search for the future. Okay, so I'm going to step out a little bit. I'm going to go back and kind of show you some other tools that we have. Now here, of course, at GovDirections YouTube, where we are recording live, you'll find hundreds of hours of videos. And we kind of stumbled upon that, but people love that about us. We get a lot of comments and a lot of views, and I encourage you to subscribe to that, and you always be brought up to speed with that. And then GovSchool, of course, are sessions that are there. Some of these are premium. Some of these are completely free. We're continuously showing that listing. And so you can come in here and tap into those at any given time and learn. You know, the key to winning, the first thing is finding the right bid. The second thing is learning how to do it the right way. And I really we focus a lot on that aspect of it when you first come to, when we get you here at GovDirections is what we like to help you understand. Excuse me there. And so here we are with just an overview of everything. And I've been at the 22-minute mark. I said I'll keep you about 25 minutes today. And so I'll stop here. I want to see if any of you have any questions. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube Live, at this point in time, I'd like to actually give everybody the opportunity to ask direct questions. And so I'm going to go ahead and just terminate that. and so that that everybody can enjoy the one-on-one here now with us. So let me go in there just quickly and stop